The small transport ship drifted silently through the empty black of space. Outside the viewports, stars shone cold and distant. Inside, the air smelled faintly of recycled oxygen, mixed with the metallic scent of worn machinery. The ship was old. Its engines had seen better days, and every system groaned as if tired of keeping the passengers alive. The passengers were aliens, a small group of survivors from a world that no longer existed. They had no home. The galaxy had turned its back on them. Soren, the leader of the group, sat alone in the dim light of the bridge. His eyes were pale blue, and his face was marked with years of worry and loss. He stared at the screen in front of him, listening to the faint, broken signal that came from their destroyed planet. The signal was weak, but it kept repeating the same message. "We are lost. Help us. Do not forget us." It had been playing for years. No one answered. No one came. He sighed and looked around the bridge. His crew was small. Only 10 adults and a few young ones. The children had never seen a real planet. They had been born on this ship, moving from system to system, drifting in the endless dark. The older ones tried to comfort them, telling stories of green fields, warm sun, and gentle oceans. But the children listened with wide eyes and doubt in their hearts. For them, space was all they knew. "Soren," said Alara, one of the engineers, her voice soft but tired. "We are almost out of fuel. The engines are weak. The life support is failing in the lower decks. If we do not find a safe place soon, the children will not survive." Soren did not answer right away. He pressed his fingers against his temples, trying to think. He had made hundreds of plans, plotted hundreds of routes. Every planet they tried was closed. Every system turned them away. He remembered the messages from the empires. "We cannot take you. Your people are a problem. Too dangerous. Too poor. Too weak." Even the neutral trade stations refused, saying they could not risk contact with refugees who had no protection or influence. "Maybe there is no one left who will help us," he said quietly. His voice sounded hollow, even to himself. "Maybe we are truly alone in the galaxy." A faint beep from the ship's ancient computer drew his attention. A new signal was coming through. Almost hidden among the static. It was faint, but steady. He leaned closer. The signal was not like the others. It was human. He had heard of humans before. They were called Deathworlders, survivors of harsh planets, strong and stubborn, almost dangerous. Stories told of humans surviving storms that would kill most species, of building homes in deserts and frozen lands, and of fighting predators larger and faster than themselves. Humans were tough, but few ever said they were kind. The signal repeated a simple message. "This is Colony Network Amber Line. If you need help, state your situation." Soren stared at the words. For the first time in years, hope and fear mixed together in his chest. Could these humans be the answer? He turned to Alara and the others. "Should we reply?" he asked. Alara shook her head. "We do not know them. They may be dangerous. We have heard stories. Humans. They are not like other species." "Yes," said Soren, "but what choice do we have? We cannot stay here. The engines will fail. The children cannot survive another week in space. We answer, or we die." They prepared the ship to transmit a response. The message was simple, honest, and short. Soren told of their numbers, their condition, and the state of their ship. He described the children, the old, and the sick. He made no promises they could not keep, no lies to make themselves look stronger. He pressed send and waited. Hours passed. The children slept in their small modules, curled in thin blankets, unaware of the fear that hung over the ship. The adults paced or sat in silence. Every small beep of the computer made their hearts jump. Finally, a reply came. "This is Daniel," said the human voice, clear and calm. "We have received your message. Tell me your numbers, your health, and your current position. We will help you if we can." Soren blinked. The human did not ask for bribes, resources, or control. He did not ask who was stronger or who ruled their homeworld. He asked simple, basic questions. About survival, about numbers, about need. "We are 12 adults, 6 children, and 2 elderly," Soren replied. His voice shook slightly. "Our ship is failing. Engines weak. Life support unstable. Food will last 3 days." There was a pause. Then Daniel spoke again. "We can provide a safe location. Coordinates will follow. Prepare your ship for a jump. Route is dangerous. Obstacles in space. Asteroid fields. Unstable lanes. We can guide you. But the journey is risky." Soren's stomach tightened. Risky meant danger. Possibly death. But there was no other choice. He looked at the young aliens playing quietly near a corner of the bridge, not knowing the fear around them. He thought of the elderly couple huddled together in their module, whispering prayers. He thought of the children, wide-eyed, seeing space as endless darkness. "Set course," he said finally. "We go to the coordinates. Prepare for the jump." The ship hummed as the crew worked. Engines groaned, systems blinked warnings, but the crew followed their leader. Hope was fragile, but it was hope. Days passed as they traveled. The jump lanes were narrow, asteroid fields dense, and small meteors hit the shields. Alarms rang, lights flashed red, and the ship shuddered. But Soren's crew worked tirelessly. Ilara patched minor damages. Another crew member, Rami, monitored the shields, adjusting them to absorb the impacts. The children stayed in their quarters, listening to the sounds of shudders and alarms with anxious faces. Finally, after tense hours, the stars shifted. The black emptiness opened up to a new system. A yellow star warmed the viewports. Orbiting the star were clusters of stations, some shining silver, some dull gray. Human ships moved with precision, scanning and guiding them toward a docking ring. Soren's heart raced. The humans could turn them away, disarm them, even fire if they saw them as a threat. But instead, a calm voice came over the comm. "Welcome to Haven Ridge. Docking coordinates uploaded. We will meet you at the bay." The refugees watched silently as the docking bay grew closer. Human ships flanked them, monitoring and guiding, but not threatening. They slowed, engines humming steadily. The ramp extended. Soren led a small group down the ramp. The first thing they saw was the humans waiting. Not soldiers, not mercenaries, but humans in simple uniforms, medics and technicians, smiling slightly. One human woman stepped forward. "I am Claire," she said. "You are safe here. We will help you." Soren was struck by her calm tone. She carried no weapon. She made no demands. She did not ask for anything. She simply offered help. The humans guided them into the bay. Medics scanned their bodies, checked for illnesses, and handed them water and simple food. The taste was strange to the aliens, but nourishing. Children clung to Soren and Ilara, looking at the humans with curiosity, not fear. Later, in a small meeting room, Soren met with Claire and Daniel. Daniel's expression was calm, steady. "We cannot promise luxury," he said. "Our colony is new. It is rough, hard. But we can promise food, safety, and a place to start." Soren felt the weight of years of rejection and loneliness pressing down. He wanted to ask why humans would help them. Claire answered the unspoken question. "We know what it is like to be left alone," she said. "We know what it is to survive when no one believes you can. We help because it is the right thing to do, Not because we must. For the first time in years, Soren allowed himself to feel relief. Hope was fragile, but it existed. The galaxy may have abandoned them, but here, on a stubborn, dangerous human world, they finally had a chance to survive. He looked around the room at the humans, at the medics, at the quiet children. He allowed himself a small smile. For the first time in memory, the future seemed possible. The journey was not over. Danger still existed. The galaxy still watched with indifference. But Soren knew one thing. Humanity had opened their doors when no one else would, and for the first time in a long time, he believed they could have a home. The transport ship settled into the docking bay of Haven Ridge. Outside, the colony was alive with movement. Human engineers and miners walked quickly across metal walkways. Small transport vehicles carried supplies from one building to another. Children's laughter echoed from a distant playground, a sound so foreign and beautiful to the aliens that some stopped and listened. Soren led the group off the ship. The aliens had never walked on solid ground that was not a part of their destroyed world. The colony's ground felt firm beneath their feet, warm from the star above. A gentle wind carried the faint scent of food, smoke from small furnaces, and something unfamiliar that humans called flowers. Claire waited for them at the end of the ramp. Her smile was calm and welcoming. She gestured for the aliens to follow. "This way," she said. "You will stay in the temporary housing modules for now. We will show you everything you need." Soren followed, keeping his eyes open. The aliens were cautious. Some whispered to each other, unsure if this was a trap. The humans had seemed kind over the comms, but kindness in space could be dangerous. He glanced at the children, whose wide eyes took in the new world with wonder. They had never seen the sky from a planet, never felt the sun warm their skin. The housing modules were simple, small rooms, clean and functional. Each alien family was given a module with beds, a small cooking area, and basic supplies. It was not luxurious, but it was safe. For the first time, Soren realized they had walls and a roof that no one could take away. "Eat something," Claire said, handing them containers with a warm, soft food. It smelled strange, but was nourishing. "Rest when you need. We will be here to help." Ilara looked around, her eyes scanning every corner. "It is better than I expected," she said. "But I worry. How long until someone tells them we are here? Someone who wants to take us?" Soren nodded. He had the same fear. The galaxy had been cruel. Humans were strong, but others might still see them as property, or as a problem to remove. He set his jaw. For now, he would focus on survival. Later, they would think about threats. The next day, Soren walked through the colony with Claire as a guide. Human children ran past, shouting greetings to each other. A few stared at the alien children and waved. The aliens waved back shyly, their small bodies stiff with uncertainty. The humans did not seem afraid. They were curious, smiling, laughing, and showing no hostility. "These humans," Soren whispered to Ilara as they walked, "they are different from the stories. They survive hard worlds. Yes, but they also seem gentle." "I do not understand it," Ilara shrugged. "Perhaps they have learned to be strong and kind at the same time. Or perhaps we are seeing only one side." They entered a large building where humans taught the children. A woman named Megan welcomed the alien kids. She spoke slowly, with clear gestures. "You can join the class," she said. "We learn numbers, reading, and about stars." The alien children shuffled in, curious. Some sat together, whispering in their own language. Some copied the humans, trying to understand the strange words. Soren watched quietly. The children laughed at small mistakes and helped each other. For the first time, He felt a flicker of relief. They were not being ignored, mocked, or left to drift. They were learning. They were seen. Meanwhile, human engineers invited alien adults to help in the shipyards. The old transport ship needed repairs, and other vehicles needed maintenance. Josh, a young human engineer, showed them tools and machines. "We can use your skills," he said. "You are good with electronics and navigation, right?" Ilara nodded. She and Rami began examining a damaged drone. Their hands were delicate, precise. Soon, they repaired circuits faster than the human engineers expected. Josh smiled. "Good work," he said. "We may need your help more often. Maybe even teach us new tricks." Soren observed quietly. Humans seemed to work differently. They were rough in the body, pushing against heavy machinery, but careful with small tasks. Aliens were precise with tools but not used to manual labor. Together, they complemented each other. The work was hard, but it gave purpose. For the first time, Soren realized that survival was not only about staying alive, it was about building something. Some nights, the aliens struggled. Dreams came, filled with the memory of their destroyed world. They woke screaming, calling out names of family, friends, and places gone forever. Ilara comforted the young ones, singing old songs softly. Soren held the elderly couple, whispering that they were safe. Humans helped in these moments too. Laura, a counselor, visited every module, talking gently with those who were afraid. "We know what it is like," she said. "We have lived through storms, wars, and loss. You are not alone here." Soren listened to her words, though doubt lingered. Could they trust humans completely? The galaxy had abandoned them. Yet, every action, every calm word, every meal, every repaired drone, showed a different truth. Humans acted with care and strength. One day, a storm hit the colony. Wind ripped across the valley, carrying dust and rocks. Small buildings shook, alarms blared, and power lines flickered. Human engineers ran outside, shouting instructions. Soren felt fear twist in his chest. They were not used to such weather. The children huddled inside, frightened, while adults held tools and shields. Ilara turned to him. "We can help. We must." Together with the human crews, the aliens went into the storm. Soren held onto a beam, guiding a small transport that carried supplies. Rami adjusted shields to protect them from flying debris. The human teams worked efficiently, trusting the aliens to do tasks they had never done before. Hours passed. Sweat and rain mixed on faces. Muscles ached. Alarms continued to blare. Yet slowly, they repaired the damage. Power lines were secured. Roofs were reinforced, and the storm lost strength. By the end, everyone was exhausted, but alive. The children watched from windows, amazed. They saw humans and aliens working together. They saw their parents as strong, not weak. They saw hope. Soren, looking around at the tired but smiling faces, felt pride and relief. Humans had not just given them a home, they had made them part of something bigger. After the storm, humans invited the aliens to help rebuild sections of the colony. Each small success made them more confident. They learned human ways of building, navigation, and communication. Humans learned the alien skills of precise electronics, navigation, and problem-solving. Slowly, the colony became a place where both species could live, work, and grow together. Soren walked at night, looking at the stars. The galaxy still seemed cold and distant. Yet, down below, lights shone from the homes of Haven Ridge. Humans and aliens shared meals, laughed, and repaired machines. The alien children played with human children, learning their ways, sharing their own. It was strange, new, and beautiful. He realized that safety and survival were not enough. To thrive, they needed community. Humans offered more than survival. They offered guidance, strength, and patience. They offered trust, and slowly, the aliens began to trust. For Soren, hope became real. Not just a faint signal in the darkness, but something he could see and feel. The children's laughter, the hum of working machines, the careful hands of humans and aliens repairing together. These were signs that life could continue. He returned to his quarters, exhausted, but filled with a quiet joy. Tomorrow, there would be more work, more learning, more fear, and more hope. And he knew that here, with humans who had opened their doors and their hearts, they had a chance to build something lasting. For the first time in years, Soren slept without the weight of despair pressing on him. The stars outside still burned cold and indifferent. But down below, in Haven Ridge, humans and aliens had created warmth, safety, and beginnings. The galaxy had abandoned them, but for now, they had a home. Weeks passed in Haven Ridge, and life began to settle into a rhythm. The initial fear slowly faded, replaced by curiosity and cautious confidence. The children explored the colony freely, learning human games and sharing their own songs. Adults worked alongside humans, fixing machinery, building structures, and learning the patterns of this harsh, rocky world. Soren walked through the main square, watching humans and aliens interact. The sun warmed his back, and he noticed the children laughing as they chased a small drone around the plaza. He smiled. The colony was not perfect, but it was alive. It was their first real home in years. Ilara approached him, holding a small device. "Josh asked me to help calibrate the old mining drones," she said. "He wants us to teach the human crews a few of our tricks." "They are impressed with our work," Soren nodded. "Good. We need to show them we are not weak. We can contribute. That will make this place stronger." See, the next morning, the aliens gathered with human engineers in the shipyards. Josh, with his bright, practical smile, led the session. "These drones are old," he explained. "We need to make them work for the colony again. Ilara, Rami, and the others will show us how to modify the circuits for precision. We'll work together." The aliens demonstrated careful techniques. They rewired circuits, adjusted sensors, and repaired delicate components. The humans learned quickly, amazed at the speed and skill of their new neighbors. Small successes built confidence. Soon, human crews were modifying drones alongside aliens, exchanging ideas, and laughing at small mistakes. The alien children peeked through windows, proud of their parents' work. While work kept them busy, life outside the shipyards became a lesson in adaptation. The aliens observed human customs, handshakes, casual greetings, and informal speech. Soren sometimes struggled with the friendliness and directness. "Why do they speak this way?" He asked Ilara once. After overhearing a conversation, Ilara shrugged. "Perhaps they value honesty and clarity. There is no time for lies or unnecessary politeness. It is their way of trusting each other." Soren tried to imitate it, greeting humans simply and clearly. It felt strange. But over time, he noticed that humans responded with trust and warmth. He began to understand that strength and kindness could coexist. Nights were different too. The aliens introduced humans to their quiet traditions. In small circles, they sang songs from their homeworld. Stories of rivers, mountains, and forests that no longer existed. Humans listened, fascinated. Some even tried to join the melodies, their voices rough but sincere. The children loved these evenings, listening to both alien and human stories. Yet, not everything was easy. Some adults still woke from nightmares, reliving the destruction of their world. Soren often found them wandering the halls, murmuring in their own language, afraid and alone. Laura, the human counselor, visited regularly. She offered calm words, gentle gestures, and understanding. "You are safe now," she told them one evening, sitting beside a shivering alien. "We have all faced danger. All of us. You are not alone anymore. Trust in what you see here." Soren watched quietly. He knew the trauma would take time, but he was grateful for the patience humans showed. For the first time, he felt a possibility of healing for his people. Then came the first real test of cooperation. A massive storm blew across the colony, with high winds and flying debris. Small buildings shook, and alarms rang through the settlement. Power lines flickered and sparks flew. The humans reacted quickly, shouting instructions, moving supplies, and checking defenses. Soren felt fear twist in his chest, but he did not hesitate. He and Ilara joined the humans outside, helping secure buildings and stabilize power lines. Rami worked on adjusting the shields around a transport vehicle carrying essential supplies. The wind whipped around them, but humans and aliens worked as one team. Hours passed, and slowly, the storm lost strength. Damage was minimized. No one was seriously hurt, and the colony's systems remained functional. The children peeked from windows, awed by the teamwork. Soren realized that humans and aliens together could face dangers that neither could survive alone. After the storm, the aliens were praised for their efforts. Soren felt a quiet pride. This was no longer a temporary home. They had begun to belong. Human leaders encouraged them to take responsibility for certain sections of the colony, and soon, the aliens had small tasks to manage independently. This gave them purpose, a sense of control, and a feeling of ownership in their new world. Soren noticed subtle changes in the colony. Humans were not trying to lead or dominate. They taught, shared, and guided. The aliens were learning quickly, but humans also learned from them. Human engineers asked for advice on drones, navigation, and electronics. Children swapped games and stories. A quiet respect grew between the species. One morning, as Soren walked through the plaza, he saw the alien children playing alongside human children, laughing and running together. It was a simple sight, but it filled him with hope. These children had never known war, starvation, or fear of drifting in space. Here, they had friends, games, and laughter. He met Josh near the shipyard, who smiled and said, "The drones work better than I expected. Your people's skill is amazing. We have learned more in a few weeks than in a year." Soren nodded. "We have skills, yes. But you taught us how to survive here. How to adapt. We are learning from each other." Ilara joined them, wiping sweat from her brow. "This is what it means to build a home," she said. "Not just walls or shelter. It is trust, learning, and working together. It is life." The colony continued to grow. Alien families planted small gardens alongside human farmers. Plants from both species thrived, creating a small mix of colors and scents. Children learned to share toys, food, and games. Humans learned alien songs and stories, while aliens learned about human culture, traditions, and survival skills. Soren reflected on the past months. They had arrived as strangers, afraid and broken. Now, they had work, friends, learning, and laughter. Humans had not just offered shelter, they had offered inclusion. They had treated the aliens with respect, patience, and kindness. The galaxy might still be cold and indifferent, but here, in Haven Ridge, life was possible. Evenings were quiet but filled with small warmth. Humans and aliens sat together, eating meals, discussing the day's work, and sharing stories. The air was alive with the sounds of conversation, laughter, and music. Soren often paused to watch, realizing that these moments, simple as they were, mattered more than any starship, any empire, or any distant signal. Yet Soren knew challenges would come. The galaxy had not forgotten them entirely. News of their survival and settlement would reach distant systems. Other species might see their refuge as a threat, an opportunity, or a problem. But for now, the colony was strong. Humans and aliens had proven they could work together, survive together, and protect one another. Soren returned to his quarters at night, exhausted but content. He looked out at the sky, the stars burning cold and distant, but the lights of Haven Ridge below reminded him that warmth and life could exist even in the dark. He thought of the children sleeping safely, the adults working tirelessly, and the humans who had welcomed them without hesitation. For the first time in years, Soren allowed himself to hope without fear. The galaxy may have abandoned them, but they had found a home not just of walls and shelter, but of trust, cooperation, and shared life. And in that home, the future seemed possible. He closed his eyes, listening to the faint hum of the colony, the whispers of children, and the soft voices of humans and aliens sharing this strange, new world. They had survived, and they had begun to thrive. The galaxy could remain indifferent. Here, on this stubborn, rocky human world, the aliens had found safety, friendship, and purpose. They had begun to build not just a home, but a community. And for Soren, that was more than enough.